Teacher, you may commence with your class.
Goeiemôre graad 12. Baie welkom by vandag se Afrikaans se eerste addisionele taalles. Ek hoop ons gaan 'n lekker les hê. Good morning grade 12. Welcome to today's Afrikaans first additional language lesson. Aan die einde van die les sal jy weet hoe om Vraestel 1 afdeling C vraag 5 te benader. You are going to know how to approach paper 1 section C question 5. We are finishing section C question 5 today. Hoe om sinne met voegwoorde te verbind. How to join sentences with conjunctions. Hoe om 'n sin na die negatief te verander. How to change a sentence into the negative. En hoe om deelwoorde te benader. How to approach participles, your present and past participles. So gister het ons gekyk na die leidende vorm en na die kort infinitief. Yesterday we had a look at the passive voice and the short infinitive, and I gave you 4 sentences to do for homework, to attempt on each of the sections. So kom ons kyk gou. Let's quickly have a look at the sentences. Let's start with skryf die volgende 2 sinne in die leidende vorm. Goed, so die eerste sinnetjie was die matriek het vandag baie werk geleer. Okay, so step 1, I said divide your sentence into stompie yesterday. So die matriek is your subject, het, verb 1, vandag, time, baie werk is your object, en geleer is your verb 2. Nou moet ek hierdie sin vat en hom in die leidende vorm skryf. So, we have to determine the tense. That was step 2. Hierdie sin is in die verlede tyd. Goed, en dan moet ons die reël toepas. Then we have to apply the rule. So kom ons kyk die reël. So ons begin met die object. We are going to start with the object. Baie werk. Step 2 of the rule said we are going to determine which verb to use based on our tense. Our tense is past tense, so we are going to write down is. Okay, our sentence does have a time word, therefore that comes next. It does not have manner. Then we put down the word deur. Then our subject, die matriek. There's no place, and then we add fit to the verb, but it already has a fit because it's written in the past tense. So our answer, baie werk is vandag deur die matriek geleer. Okay, die het, just the extra note, die het word deur die is vervang. The het is replaced by is in the leidende vorm. In the passive voice, you just forget about it because it's been replaced by is. Kom ons kyk na die volgende sinnetjie. Tieners eet daagliks baie kos. Okay, so once again we divide our sentence into stompie. We have tieners as our subject, eet as our verb 1, daagliks means every day, so that's our time. Baie kos is our object. Goed, so nou moet ons die reël toepas. Dis in die teenwoordige tyd, the sentence is in the present tense, en nou gaan ons weer, we start with object, baie kos, we've determined it is in the present tense, therefore we write down the word word, time, daagliks, there's no manner, next step we write deur, we write our subject tieners, there isn't place, and we add get to the verb. So baie kos word daagliks deur tieners geëet. Reg, dan het ek julle nog 2 sinne gegee oor die kort infinitief. I gave you 2 sentences on the short infinitive. So kom ons kyk. Die meisie moet haar ma in die huis help. So with all sentence related questions, I said, please underline or identify your verb. In hierdie geval, moet en help. Okay. Then I said, if your sentence has a moet, any auxiliary verb for that matter, you're going to cross it out because a sentence cannot have behoort and moet. Okay, the behoort is going to replace the moet. Okay, so kom ons kyk mooi. Ons sê die meisie behoort, and then the rest of the sentence, haar ma in die huis, and then I put the help. Okay, remember the big thing that I said you have to remember with these short infinitive sentences yesterday is that we do not add a om. That is a big no-no, and that is most probably the most common mistake that you make in your question paper. Kyk na die volgende sin. Let's have a look at the next sentence. Die seun eet elke dag al die brood op. So dit sê begin so, die seun behoort. So I said you identify your verb. So is dit eet. Good. Now this sentence does not have an auxiliary verb. Okay, so now it works slightly different. So I'm going to write like they've said I should start. Die seun behoort. Then I write down the rest of the sentence. Elke dag al die brood op. I add my te, and my verb then moves to the end of the sentence. Goed, so die seun behoort elke dag al die brood op te eet. Reg. Okay, so that was just a quick recap of the basic language that we did yesterday. Goed, so kom ons gaan aan met die vraag 5. Let's continue today with question 5. En 5.3 sê, vervang die onderstreepte voegwoord met die voegwoord tussen hakies. Now you have to understand this instruction to be able to do it. It's just a different way of asking conjunctions. Usually they give you the two sentences separately and then you have to join it. Now it's one sentence, but I'll quickly explain it. So ons sinnetjie is, niemand het daaraan gedink nie, maar ek het daaraan as 'n sakegeleentheid gedink en jy moet die sinnetjie verbind met nogtans. Right, so the instruction asks you to replace this conjunction with nogtans, and then the rest of the sentence you need to fix the word order. Okay, so ek sê, onthou om altyd jou werkwoord te onderstreep. You need to remember to identify the verbs. I've said this numerous times after over the last couple of days. If you can identify the verb, you can do any language-related sentence in Afrikaans because it is just the verb moving around in the sentence. En ek sê, jy moet jou voegwoordgroepe teen hierdie tyd ken. You do need to know your conjunction groups by this time. Okay, if you are not Afrikaans speaking, this is extremely important because this is easy marks to gain in a question paper. Goed, so ek het nou gegaan en ek het net vraag 5.3 gevat. Dit sê vervang die onderstreepte voegwoord met die voegwoord tussen hakies. So sin 1, sentence 1, I first identify the verbs. Niemand het daaraan gedink nie, so het gedink. Maar is a group 1 conjunction. Therefore, we just have a normal sentence following. There isn't anything else happening on the side there, so ek het daaraan as 'n sakegeleentheid gedink. Het gedink are the verbs for sentence 2. And now, when I replace maar, which is the group 1 conjunction, with nogtans, I now need to remember what happens to group 2 conjunction. So ek het dit nou hier vir julle in stappe neergeskryf. I've written it down in steps. So stap 1, skryf sin 1 neer soos in die teks gegee. So you're going to write down sentence 1 as given in the text. So ek skryf daar, niemand het daaraan gedink nie. En ek het maar komma. Stap 2, vervang maar met die voegwoord nogtans. So now I'm replacing my conjunction maar with the conjunction nogtans. Niemand het daaraan gedink nie, nogtans. But onthou om jou werkwoord te skuif, stap 3. Remember to now move your verb of the sentence following the conjunction. Onthou, groep 2 voegwoorde, die verb 1 skuif direk na die voegwoord. Okay, so our rule for group 2 conjunctions, verb 1 moves directly after the conjunction. Goed, so niemand het daaraan gedink nie, nogtans het, so I've now moved my verb right next to my conjunction. They want to be as close to each other as possible. And then whatever is left in my sentence, I write down. I do not change the word order thereafter. But het ek daaraan gedink as 'n sakegeleentheid. Okay, so if you get a question like this, you are basically being given one sentence with a group 1 conjunction, and they now want you to replace the group 1 conjunction with the conjunction given. You need to know your conjunction groups, and then you need to remember where your verb is going. In this case, it was a group 2 conjunction, and then my verb 1, and it is only verb 1 moving around in the sentence, moves to directly after the conjunction. Goed, kom ons kyk na die volgende 2 vragies. Let's have a look at the following 2 questions. So vraag 5.4 sê, skryf die onderstreepte getal uit. Skryf slegs die vraagnommer en die antwoord neer. So getal is number. You have to write it down in words. Once again, you are only writing down the question number and answer. You are not writing down the whole sentence and then writing out the word else. Okay, I'm telling you, please write out only the answer. Right, so 7 is in graad 11, and yes, that's how you would spell the word. Yes, spelling counts. No vir getalle wat jy moet uitskryf. If you have to write out words, no words like 4, 40, 30, 70, 20. Know how to spell those words. 12 and 14. Okay, those are the numbers they like asking because you often spell them incorrectly. Okay, so please know that. Goed, dan sê vraag 5.5. Verbind die sinne met die voegwoord tussen hakies, and now they tell you, join the sentences with the conjunction between brackets. But look very carefully at this question. So it says here, hy het vriende se hulp gekry, hy het sy besigheid begin. Now you have to join it with nadat, but then please read the whole question. Because often you read verbind die sinne met die voegwoord tussen hakies, you see the 2 sentences and you just start joining the 2 sentences. Check if they haven't told you how to start. So in this one they say begin so, nadat. They want you to start by joining with a group 3 conjunction. And then also look at the mark allocation. Sometimes it's only worth 1 mark, but as soon as a conjunction question is worth 2 marks, okay, you know you have to look carefully because most probably they want you to start by joining the 2 sentences. Now you can only join 2 sentences with group 3 conjunctions. The only exception is al. Al is the only group 2 conjunction that you can use to join 2 sentences. So if you don't get al, all the other ones that you are joining are group 3 conjunctions. So kom ons kyk, hierso sê ek, once again, you identify your verb. Hy het vriende se hulp gekry, so het en gekry vir sentence 1. Hy het sy besigheid begin, en het en begin for sentence 2. So nou kom ons kyk, hoe werk dit as ons met 'n groep 3 voegwoord begin? How does it work if we start with the group 3 conjunction? So verb 1 van die sin na die voegwoord skuif na die einde van die sin. So the verb 1 of the sentence following the conjunction is moving to the end. Dan sit jy 'n komma, then you put a comma, and then verb 1 van die tweede sin skuif na die begin van die sin. Okay, then verb 1 of the second sentence moves to the start of the sentence. Okay, this is a more trickier way of asking groups of conjunctions. So kom ons kyk, nadat hy sy vriende se hulp gekry het, look, my verb has moved to the end. I'll put a comma. Now, my verb 1 of the next sentence is moving to the front. Het hy sy besigheid begin. Okay, I know you might think it looks strange having two heads next to one another in an answer. If you've got two heads next to one another, your answer is right. Do not doubt yourself. Okay, my kids in my class often say, Ma'am, it looks funny. It is right. If you've got two heads next to one another, you are on the right path. Okay, I just quickly want to recap this. So if you are starting with a group 3 conjunction, you identify your verb, right? The verb 1 of the first sentence after the conjunction moves to the end, and verb 1 of the second sentence moves to the front of that sentence. Right, and your marks will be allocated as follows. You will get a mark for moving this verb to the end, and then you will get a mark for moving this verb to the beginning. However, everything else has to be in the right order. But now remember what I said. It is only the verbs moving around in these sentences. Nothing else. Goed. Nou het ons nog 3 sinnetjies. We've got another 3 questions in this section. Ons het skryf die sin oor in die teenwoordige tyd. Rewrite the sentence in the present tense. Hy het sy vriende se hulp gevra. So kom ons kyk. Once again, I identify my verb. Hy het is a verb, sy vriende se hulp gevra. Okay, so now because we have to write it in the present tense, my het is going to fall away. The ge attached to the verb is going to fall away. And then my verb 2 has to move back to the verb 1 position, that I've got the correct stompie rule. You'll see once again, it is only the verb moving around in the sentence. So as ons kyk na die antwoord, hy vra sy vriende se hulp. Okay, kom ons kyk. I did explain kappe van vergelyking the other day in one of the lessons. So ek het hierso vra hulle vir julle gee die oortreffende trap van die woord tussen hakkies. Skryf slegs die vraagnommer en die antwoord neer. So die oortreffende trap is the third group of the degree, or the third degree of the degrees of comparison, and that is where we add STE to the word. So die Melvin inwoners se reaksie was wonderlik. So only as an answer, you're not going to write out the whole sentence, you are only going to write down the answer. I'm going to write down wonderlik, and I'm going to add STE, wonderlikste. If your base word they've given you ends on an S, then you will still add STE and you will have a double S at the end of the sentence. Goed, nou sê vraag 5.8. Gee die korrekte vorm van die byvoeglike naamwoord tussen hakkies, skryf slegs die vraagnommer en die antwoord neer. Okay, so byvoeglike naamwoord is an adjective, but julle moet daai goedjies maar ken. You need to know the names of your different parts of speech. So it's an adjective. So now we have a look at the sentence. Hulle het 'n uitstekend maatskappy. Okay, so my adjective is standing in front of my noun. Okay, so usually all we have to do is add an E. Put uitstekend, the. Once again, you will only write down the answer. Okay, so if the adjective is standing in front of the noun, then you usually add an E. Obviously, there are exceptions, but in this case, it was straightforward. We just add an E. Good. Now, in another lesson this week, I did explain how to change sentences from direct speech into indirect speech. It was the lesson on how to analyze the cartoon. And I also said that often direct and indirect speech questions are asked in the cartoon-related question, that is question 4. However, they are not just limited to that question, as we see in question 5.9. It says, skryf die sin oor in die direkte rede. Now we have to write it back into direct speech. Goed, so nou staan weer 'n paar goedjies. Stap 1, I sê, soek die werkwoord. Go and look for the verb. Okay, that is extremely important. So ons kyk, Steven se ma sê dat sy baie trots op haar seun is. Okay, so that is the verb after the dat. But stap 2, soek die pronouns. We now have to look for the voornaamwoorde, our pronouns that must change. So ons het sy, Steven se ma, op haar seun. Okay, now, when you've got a sentence like this, you've got the dat. That dat has to fall away, and you have to now remember to move your verb back after the subject, because you are now not working with the group 3 conjunction anymore. You are now putting the sentence back into direct speech. Your punctuation is also extremely important in this question. Now you'll see this question is for 2 marks, so you will get given marks for certain things. Sometimes in the exam it's only worth 1 mark, and if it is only worth 1 mark, everything has to be correct. Okay, so please pay attention to your punctuation. So hulle sê vir jou, begin so, start like this. Steven se ma sê, and then a double punt, your colon, en dan jou aanhalingstekens, your inverted commas. So to Steven se ma sê, ek. Remember, this now has to be a capital letter because Steven's mom is speaking. So she goes, I'm very proud of my son. So ek, my verb moves back after my subject. Ek is baie trots op my seun. Okay, and then I put my full stop, and then I close my inverted commas. Please make very sure that you do not put the inverted commas on top of the full stop, or the inverted commas and then the full stop, because then your punctuation is incorrect and everything else can be right, but because of that one silly mistake, you're going to lose your marks. And if it's a 1 mark question, you are losing the whole mark. If it's a 2 mark question, you will lose 1 out of the 2 mark questions. But please, it's very important. They've even indicated it here on the way you should start full stop, then you close the inverted comma. But so ek het nou vir jou probeer verduidelik hoe jy jou punte sal kry. I've now tried to explain how you would get awarded the 2 marks. So 1 punt vir korrekte voornaamwoorde en punctuasie. You will get 1 mark for the correct pronouns and punctuation. So this has to be correct, these two have to be correct, that has to be correct. En 1 punt vir die werkwoord op die correcte plek. And then 1 mark for the verb in the correct position. Okay, so this is baie belangrik. And a lot of you get this right. Just remember, you have to move the verb back to after the subject position, and you have to remember to change all your pronouns, and then extremely important, please remember it's full stop, then close the inverted commas. Okay, anders gaan julle hulle punte verloor, en dit is onnodige punte om te verloor. Right, it's unnecessary marks to lose. Goed, dan, as ons kyk na die volgende skyfie, ek sê dit gee die intensiewe vorm van die woord tussen hakies, skryf slegs die vraagnommer en die antwoord nee. Right, so they want the intensive form. This is bloedrooi, pikswart, grasgroen, spierwit. So kom ons kyk, Steven sorg dat sy kliënte se vullisblikke skoon is. Okay? You need to know certain of your intensive form words. There are loads and loads of lists in some of the study guides. You obviously have a basic idea of some of the intensive form, but maybe once you return to school, ask your teacher to go through those lists and identify ones that are popular, that you can study if you can't remember those ones. Also look at the past papers and make a list of those that have been asked. That's a good idea, but just look, there's a few things that you need to be aware of with intensive form. This een woord, you have to write it as one word. If you are one of those people that write and you leave spaces between your letters, this is the one place where you please have to make sure that you have squished everything together, that there is absolutely no doubt that that word has been written as one word. If there is the slightest of doubt by the marker that you have not written it as one word, you will not be awarded the mark. Okay, please, I'm begging you, because a lot of you write down beautifully, silver skoon, but then there is a slight gap between silver and skoon, okay, and you are not going to be given the mark. Squish everything together. All intensieve vorme is een woord. It's all one word. And then obviously spelling. Your spelling is very important. They have asked silverskoon because your common spelling mistake in silverskoon is you put a V instead of a W. In Afrikaans gebruik ons 'n V, okay, a W. Maar dan sê ek hier die persoonsnaam van die woord tussen hakies. Skryf slegs die vraagnommer en die antwoord nee. Right, so ek het hier gesê, you have to form a person, okay, by adding something to the word. So Kevin is nog 'n skool. So if he's a scholar, okay, dan sê hy skoolleer. Nou, hier sê ek gewoonlik kan jy net ER aan die woord voeg om dit 'n persoonsnaam te maak. Usually, you only have to add an ER, the suffix ER to the word given to change it into a persoonsnaam. This was an exception, and you must say bygevoeg het. However, if we look at two other examples, iemand wat rook is 'n roker, 'n smoker. Okay, maar now remember our base word has a double O, therefore we only have one. We only have one O here. And someone that braais, okay, iemand wat braai is 'n braaier. We add an ER. Okay, so usually you just have to add an ER if they ask you to change the word into a persoonsnaam. They don't always ask the exceptions. In this particular paper they did. So dan sê hulle kies die korrekte woord tussen hakies, skryf slegs die vraagnommer en die antwoord nee. Steven weet of ken dat hy sukses van sy lewe sal maak. Okay. Now, this difference between ken and weet, you guys usually find extremely confusing because both of them, if you look them up in the dictionary, means no. So how do we differentiate between the two? Ek het hier geskryf, jy ken iemand, you know someone, daarom weet jy iets van hulle af. Okay, you know someone, therefore you know something about them. So I've given an example. Ek ken vir George. I know George. Daarom weet ek hy is 'n hoofseun. Therefore I know he is a head boy. Okay. Julle wat na my lesse luister, julle ken nou vir Juffrou van Wyk. Daarom weet julle sy is Afrikaans. Okay, you now know Mrs. van Wyk. Therefore you know something more about me. You now know I teach Afrikaans. Okay, so if we look at this sentence, Steven weet of ken dat hy sukses van sy lewe sal maak. So it is weet because it's not referring to someone that he knows. Therefore it can't be ken. Steven weet iets van wat hom successful sal maak. Steven knows something about what will make him successful in life. If they want ken, it's usually if you know someone. Steven ken vir Kevin. Daarom weet hy, hulle het dieselfde belangstellings. Okay, so the ken is usually only referred to someone that you know. Weet refers to what you know about that person, something more, you've gained some knowledge about them. Okay, so I hope this has made it a bit more clear in terms of the difference between ken and weet. Goed. Nou kyk ons na teks hier die prent. So in question 5, you've got that article like I explained yesterday, where I told you don't have to read it. The questions are based on the article. The article is just to give you more background. So question 5 is worth 20 marks. 14 of the 20 marks are related to the article. The other 6 marks are related to a picture that they have given you. So kom ons kyk, dit sê teks hier, prent. Die taalvrae wat volg is op die prent gebaseer. The language questions are based on the picture. Voer die instruksies vir elke vraag uit. So now you have to follow the instructions. They give you the picture because if they ask a preposition question, in this question, you can see where certain things are. You can see how a person looks. If they ask you a vocab question, let's say they ask you, skryf die volgende woord in Afrikaans, die computer staan op die lesenaar, then you know, oh, that's a rekenaar. Okay, so they usually ask you vocab-related questions here, preposition questions, also where the person is standing or what they are doing. So 5.13 sê, voltooi die volgende uitdrukking, complete the following expression, skryf slegs die vraagnommer en antwoordnommer. Die ma is met die hande in die oor haar tienerseun se kamer. So the mom is standing there with her hands in her hare. Okay, in her hair. This is a vocab-related question. So wat is noem mens dit? Dit is hare. So dan sê 5.14 word die uitdrukking in vraag 5.13 denotatief of konnotatief uitgebeeld in die prentjie. So the expression in question 5.13, has it been visually done in a literal or figurative manner? Okay, so the expression is figurative, but if it's depicted in the picture like we see here, is it in a literal or figurative manner? Now just quickly about the words denotatief and konnotatief. Denotatief is letterlik, it's the literal meaning. Konnotatief is figuurlik, it's figurative. So in hierdie geval, we can literally see the expression. Here, she's standing with her hands in her hair. So this is denotatief because it's been printed to us in a literal way that we can see it. Die ma staan letterlik met haar hande in haar hare. The mom is actually standing with her hands in her hair because she's frustrated with the kids' messy room. Okay, dan sal ek skryf die sin oor in die negatief. You have to rewrite the sentence in the negative. Goed, die ma het nog hoop vir haar tiener se kamer. Nou stap 1 weer eens identifiseer jou werkwoord. Once again, you have to identify the verb. That is extremely important. Dan stap 2, soek enige woord wat in die negatief kan verander, soos iemand, iets, ooit, altyd. Please have a look for any word in the sentence that can be changed into the negative. Look out for the word al. Okay, al also changes in the negative. You often miss it. In this case, it's the word nog that is going to change in the negative. En dan onthou die tweede nie aan die einde van die sin. It's important to remember the second nie at the end of the sentence. Often you remember to put the first nie, you remember to change the word that needs to be changed if one was given, but then you forget to add the second nie. Okay, so ek het hier die ma het nie meer hoop vir haar tiener se kamer nie. Okay, so I've remembered nog becomes meer. I've know my head, and then my nie goes to the end of the sentence. Reg. Dan sê dit hier vorm 'n samestelling van die woorde tussen hakies. 'n Samestelling is actually a compound word. However, here where they ask elke dag is not actually, if we write it as one word, it is not actually a compound word. It is actually an afleiding because we've got a base word and a suffix. So elke dag becomes daagliks. If you see the words elke dag in brackets, you can know they want you to write it down as one word, and the spelling is very important here. You guys often forget to write down the second A, and then you write daagliks, and you won't get the mark. It has to be daagliks. Right, hier die korrekte vorm van die voltooide deelwoord. Now this is your participles that you struggle with, and I just quickly want to go to the next slide, and then I'm going to come back to this because I want to explain your deelwoorde quickly. So 'n deelwoord is 'n werkwoord wat na 'n byvoeglike naamwoord of bywoord verander word. So we've got a verb given to us in brackets, and we have to change that verb we have to change that verb into an adjective or an adverb. So we get two types of deelwoorde. We get our present and our past participle. Ons teenwoordige en verlede deelwoord. Let's quickly have a look at the teenwoordige deelwoord. Ons voeg 'n de of 'n en d aan die werkwoord. We add a de or an ende at the end of the verb. Okay, usually with the teenwoordige deelwoord, it is currently happening. Right, so ons het hier loop water. Goed, so lopende water, running water. Huil babas, huilende babas. But crying babies. The easiest with these ones are actually trying to translate the adjective and the noun, okay, because then you can see what you have to add. As soon as the English translation has the ing added to the word, then you know you are busy with the teenwoordige. It's busy happening. The water is running. The baby is crying. Okay, that's why we add lopende, huilende. If we have a look at the verlede deelwoorde, right, the past participles, right, we have a swak verlede deelwoord and a sterk verlede deelwoord. I'm quickly going to go through this because we only have 5 minutes left. 'n swak verlede deelwoord, we add ge plus te at the end of the word. Breekvenster, 'n gebreekte venster. Broken window, if I translate it, I can see it's in the past tense. And then borselhare, geborselde hare, brushed hair. Okay, so we can see these two words are in the past tense. Therefore, we have to add in the Afrikaans version of the word a ge plus a te or a de. Die sterk verlede deelwoord, that is the one where it's got a figurative meaning and our vowel changes. So we still add ge to the word to indicate that it's happened, maar ek het 'n breek hart. Dis 'n gebroke hart. If my heart has been broken by someone, it's not actually broken in pieces. Okay, it's a figurative way of saying that I am extremely sad. So if we go back, right, to our next slide, hierso het dit die steen se bestrooi vloer moet dadelik uitgesorteer word. The sun's messed up floor needs to be sorted out, so it's messed up. Okay, bestrooi is actually sprinkled. Okay, so hierso gaan ons nie 'n ge aanvoeg nie. We're not adding a ge because our word is starting with a b and we do have to add a de. Goed, en dan was die laaste vraagie, vul die korrekte voorsetsel in, fill in the correct preposition. En in hierdie geval moet ons kyk na die prent. We have to look at the picture to determine what preposition we have to do. In this case, we do have to look at the picture. We see there is a picture pasted upon the ceiling of the kids' room. So then we're going to have to write down the preposition sien. Okay, net gou 'n paar goedjies. Wat het ons vandag geleer? Jy moet jou voegwoordgroepe ken. You need to know your conjunction groups. En dan het ons gekyk na die deelwoord. We had a look at our deelwoorde, our participles, and where they fit in the context of the sentence. Okay, en dan maandag, as julle weer saam kom kuier, gaan ek kyk na afdeling A en B. Monday, I'm going to have a look at section A and B of question paper 1 with the focus on answering the summary and how marks are awarded in the summary, because I do think that is also an important place where you can gain marks. Reg, matriek, ek hoop om julle weer maandag te sien. Ek hoop julle het 'n heerlike naweek. Julle moet hard werk as julle tydjie kry, maar julle moet ook 'n tydjie afvat en julle self geniet. Ek kan nie wag om julle maandag weer te sien as ons die laaste gedeelte doen van Vraestel 1. Have a lovely weekend. Ek sien julle dan maandag weer. Lekker naweek. Bye.